Welcome.
Today I'm going to talk about how I managed to launch my first successful small business venture.
A little bit of a backstory. I studied brand management and marketing. I graduated in 2019. I decided to venture forward into social media marketing, as a lot of people are today. To be honest, I was very anxious about it. I think if I just fail, like what if I don't succeed in life? I think that's a real fear that a lot of people have. Okay, so how did I start without having an education on how to start a business in general or a social media marketing business? With no experience in the marketing field. First step was I basically found a mentor, and for me, luckily enough, that could be my dad. Having experience in the entrepreneur space, I looked to him to bounce off. He guided me in terms of how to register a business, how to open a business banking account, and basically doing the books of my business. All of this I had to do on my own, so I needed someone who could kind of guide me and give me a little bit insight on what routes to take. So he was a great mentor for me in terms of that, and I definitely utilized him to my advantage. If you are someone out there who does not know where to start, media and the amazing internet we have, there are so many people that you can go follow online and get these guidelines from. Well, firstly, I needed to generate some form of income to invest in tools to create this social media business that I was venturing on. So I started by doing work for my father's companies. He has a financial services business and a letting business, and I did marketing work for them, and I earned a very small salary, but it was great to get me started.
One thing that I forgot to mention is that during this period where I was working and putting money away, I also made sure that I did a social media marketing course to give me the fundamentals I needed to start this business. I obviously had the background in brand management and marketing, but I knew that the social media landscape, there was a lot to learn, a lot of insight, and I needed to lock down those fundamentals to be able to make sure that I was delivering a valuable service to the clients I was onboarding. So that was one of my first big steps that gave me really good insight. I found an amazing course. I still sometimes used to go over it and check a few things. I'll put a link below to this course that I followed, and yeah, it just gave me such amazing insight how to structure a business, how to manage it, what tools I could use, and it gave me the confidence to get started that I had some knowledge on the social media landscape and how I could structure my business to manage the clients I was onboarding.
I then used money that I accumulated. I saved as much as I could and was able to develop my own website where I'd kind of structured out what the services were I was going to offer, and I kept it very simple. And I think that's one tip I'd give, is keep things simple in the beginning and you can grow as you learn. If you overcomplicate things in the beginning, you can start to confuse and overwhelm yourself, especially when you're still learning. So I kept things very simple. I knew what my service was and what I was offering. It was social media marketing, and I definitely had a lot more to learn, but it was super basic. The services I offer now compared to what I offered then are completely different. Still a little bit, okay, I guess like the basics are the same, but there's so much more I do now that I had no idea about back then. That's basically how I managed to gain the income to build a business, was by working for someone, slowly putting money away, and then using that money to fund this new business venture that was hopefully going to become my main career. Okay, so let's talk about getting your first client. Oh my word. So for me, getting my first client, I will never forget meeting with my first potential client. And let me just give you a little bit teaser into the story. I never secured the first client that I went to visit. It was the most terrifying experience of my life, but I'm so grateful that I did it. I managed to get this lead for this client from someone my mom knew, who heard that I was starting a social media business, and they mentioned to my mom that they had a friend in the steel industry. When you're starting off, you take every opportunity you can, and I was definitely taking this opportunity. Even though everything inside of me wanted to run as fast as I could, because I had no clue what I was doing, I was still learning. But you gotta fake it till you make it. So I put together a very professional proposal. As I didn't know things off the top of my head yet, I wanted to make sure I had put everything into this business proposal that I was preparing for this client. And some research onto the business. I had outlined why social media marketing is important. I did some research on their business, And then I gave them examples in this proposal, which I had done on Word, of the type of content I could do for them. And yeah, I just went all out. Like, I put in all the effort I could. I made sure it was a perfect proposal. I checked it a million times. And let me tell you, the day that I drove to their office, they had a factory, obviously. It was more like the industrial sector of Cape Town. And I drove there all on my own. I felt like I was going to vomit. I was so nervous. I remember thinking, like, I just want this to be over. I'm so scared. I'm so terrified. Every thought, every fear, like, it was so scary. I can picture myself being back in that situation. I'll never forget the fear I felt. But anyway, I don't know what walked me into that office, but it was just my legs, because my mind, everything in my mind was telling me to run, like, run, don't go in. I think there was the owner, and then there were two owners, I think. And I presented to them, and I explained to them why social media marketing and what I could do for them. I can't remember all the details, but what I do remember is they were impressed with the amount of work I put in, which was great. So I think that's a good thing, even if you're just starting out, because they did definitely ask me, like, oh, okay, like, you know, I said, like, I'm just starting out, but, like, I can do this. I really sold myself, even though everything in me, like, even though I really didn't actually know what I was doing yet, I knew I was going to make it work in whatever way I could, and I wanted the business, and I had the drive and the passion, and I think they could see that. Very keen. They were very keen, like, all good to go. Leaving, and I definitely had a second meeting with them where we spoke more about everything. I remember they signed me on to an email address. They were all ready to get started, but that business never actually came through. But regardless of that, I will say it was still the best thing I ever did, and I wouldn't take it back, because it was my first step to getting to where I am today, where I can pick up a phone, speak to a client, and I have no problem. Like, everything is a learning curve and a step closer to where you want to be. I'm very proud of myself for doing that, but I will say it is not easy. It is scary, and that's how it should be. If it isn't scary, it means you don't care. So you need to care, and you need to give your best, put your best foot forward, and it's not always going to be easy. And I think one great thing that you can take away from that is, when you are scared and when you are doing these things, it's great to do it afraid, because you're stepping out your comfort zone, and that is where you grow. And I grew so much from that meeting, and I was so proud of myself because of how scared I was. I was terrified, but I was so proud of myself, and I still am. I made sure that I could manage that client and still have enough time to learn along the way, that no matter what service I was offering them, even though I wasn't fully confident in it yet, I knew I was going to teach myself as I was going, and I had the time to, because I was still starting out. So, for example, my first client that I took on was Juice Bubble, and they were a business who sold printed t-shirts and garments that you could print, like, custom things on their shirts, and you could outlay it on their website, and it was a really funky company. It was really, really cool. I started with them by it was super basic stuff, and I did their marketing, and I would constantly learn along the way. So slowly getting on clients, doing the basics, and then constantly teaching myself more and more and more, so I can improve my service. Because if I'm stagnant and I'm not learning, especially with the social media landscape, I'm never going to get anywhere. I'm going to get left behind, and they're going to move on. So I had to keep teaching myself, and I also had to keep teaching myself because I didn't know everything yet. But I knew that I looked after my clients, and I knew that I was willing to do what it took to give them a good service. So I think that's a very important thing, to know that you're willing to put in the effort and you're willing to learn as you go. And sometimes taking on things that you're not 100% in yet, but you've got to be confident that you can teach yourself, and you're willing to put in the time. It is worth it to do those things. Those services to clients, I was always offering my services at a competitive rate, because obviously I was new into the industry. I wasn't charging people ridiculous amounts of money for my services yet, because I didn't have the experience yet. I was learning as I was going. So I wanted to make sure that I charged them a fair rate for what I was doing. As I learned more, I've basically upgraded my packages, revised them, changed things around, and improved them. There's tools I use now to improve SEO for my clients. There's graphic design tools we use. We have skills in videography. We have now we have videography equipment. I'm always investing in my business because it is my passion. So and I love what I do. So I think the big thing is to make sure that what you're doing is what you love, because then you will have the passion to keep on learning and improving your business and investing in your business and investing in your clients. Okay, so just to give a little bit of insight to how I managed to accumulate clients, besides meeting clients in person through referral or leads given to me, the main way I get new clients on board was through Google Ads. I also downloaded a course on Udemy teaching myself Google Ads, and I set up my own Google ad for my business, and I started marketing myself online. Structured my Google ad in such a way that every time I published it, I would slowly, I had so many inquiries, I would stop it, I would deal with the inquiries because I was still a small business, secure whatever I could secure, speak to the clients, and then if I needed to, I would launch it again at a later stage once I got everything in line, the client set up, and moved slowly through that. I didn't want to rush everything, because when you have too overwhelmed, things can fall apart, and that's the last thing you want. So that's how I managed to generate new clients. And also through word of mouth was a great way. Once I offered a service to people, word of mouth spread, like, oh, Storm does digital marketing, speak to her, here's her details, and I would get referrals through some of my current clients. Start small, market yourself, network with people you know to get your first step in the door with someone, and then the chain reaction goes off. And you're gonna make mistakes along the way. You're gonna make so many mistakes along the way. I made so many mistakes. I used to be so upset at myself, think I was failing, and I look back now and I don't think the same way I used to. I just know I'm doing my best every single day, and if I mess up, I'm gonna do better next time. Just making the same mistake over and over again is not okay, but making a mistake is not a bad thing. It's a really good thing. It's the way you learn. You learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes. I think every successful person has said that. And I never look back and think what if. Just go for it, do it. And if you put your all in and it doesn't work out, then that's a learning curve, and that could lead you somewhere else. So starting is the best thing to do, and start today, don't wait. Start with a course, start slowly, start learning, start growing, start testing, start playing around, start testing. Social media is a free platform at the moment that anyone can use to start testing content, doing things. So if you're looking in that landscape, that's a great way to start. And you never know where your passion and niche, there could be people looking for your services all the time, and you just need to put yourself out there. So go for it, do it. I did it with nothing. I started with nothing, and even though I started working for my family, you never know where there's an opportunity. You could start waitressing, earning money, putting that away, and slowly building your business, and that's a great way to work. It's a great way to start something. You never know who you're going to meet, you never know where life's going to take you, but as long as you start, that's the best way to go. Sitting back and waiting for life to happen is not okay. You need to make life happen. That's where life becomes exciting. So go for it, do it. I hope this video was interesting, and I hope it encouraged you to go forth and start a business. Start what you're proud of, start what you're interested in, follow your passion, do it slowly. Learn slow steps are how you win the race. So keep going, and even today I'm not where I want to be yet, but I am still learning, and I'm excited, and I love the process of growing. I love the journey, and I'm glad that I can appreciate the journey now, and hopefully one day appreciate the destination. But for now, I'm loving the journey, and there's still so much to learn, and I'm nowhere near some of these amazing entrepreneurs in the world, but I'm so excited to learn from them, and I'm always listening, always learning, reading. And I'm making mistakes all the time, and that's fine, but go for it, do it, and you never know who you're going to meet, where life's going to take you. As long as you start and follow something you're passionate about, you definitely are on a path to where you're meant to be.